on my last trip to Joann, I walked in, fabric is first when you walk into Joann. And this was like fresh off of I just sewed my dodgy bag for the dodgy bag now. I kind of had a little nudge of maybe I could just possibly look at some fabric and whatever. Well, this fabric had the nerve to leap out off of the shelf, which was way over here. I'm over here minding my own business. It leaped off of the shelf, hit me in the head, landed in my arms like, you know, some 1930s romance movie, and said, "You must take me home." Well, I was like, I can't take you home because I don't have anything that will go with you. I took a step as I was saying, "No, stay away." And another thing of fabric leaped out, did a somersault. It was very fantastical, y'all. I don't know why anyone else did not see this happening. But anyway, flipped over, backflip, and is right in front of me. So now I have these two things of fabric sitting in front of me saying, "You must take us home." And they were on sale. Huh? What was a girl to do? It's going to be a bag. The vision is going to be, or is, the top part of the bag, or the like 3/4 of the top of the bag will be the Friends print, and the bottom fourth will be this polka dot. And then the inside of the bag will also be this polka dot. That's the vision. The bag that I made for the dodgy bag now, that was the vision for that as well. And it did not at all come out that way. It ended up being where the part of the bag that was supposed to be the top portion ended up being the full portion on one side, and what was supposed to be the bottom portion ended up being the full portion on the back side. So the bag is actually, it's got two different prints. And then when I realized that catastrophe, I just added a whole third thing in there for the inside. So I'm going to try it again. Fresh off of that trip, I went to the Dollar Tree. Yeah, the Dollar Tree. This was not the same day as the Joann trip. I feel like I gotta clarify that. I was in the Dollar Tree, and the Dollar Tree sells fabric. I got some more fabric, but they go together. So this is going to be a bag. And I think I'll actually practice with this to get that style to work before I cut into the didn't cost me only $1.25 yard. Oh Lord, have I been saying yarn all this time? Y'all know fabric. Anyway, didn't cost me $1.25 fabric. That one is. This did $1.25, and I got this. This one's actually, I'm not gonna lie, I'm telling the truth. These are all my favorites. Whoop! Look how pretty. So I'm gonna fiddle around with my fabric and my sewing machine and my I really think I can sew brain, and I will let y'all see how this all unfolds. Later. Bet you never thought you'd see me from this angle, huh? So I'm watching Allie from Little Drops of Wonderful. Her tutorial, it's called How to Sew a Simple Drawstring Bag, and it is a dodgy bag. Again, right up my alley. She's just using scrap fabrics, which is fine, and I showed y'all that these are my Dollar Tree fabrics that I'm going to attempt to use first. That lump right there is Luther. I'm on the floor in the den and I'm watching the video, and hopefully the idea I have here, the thumbnail that Allie has here, which is the same vision that I have here, hopefully I'll be able to make it work. We shall see. It's supposed to be a drawstring bag. I don't have a drawstring. I might like crochet a chain to use as a drawstring. Okay, first thing we have to do is iron. Ironing is incredibly important. Ironing is to sewing as gauge swatching is to crochet and knitting. You don't have to do it, but it looks tons better when you do. It's more like pressing than it is ironing, but I don't have a presser, whatever that is called. So ironing it is. I have a question. That this is something that has been consistent my entire life. Do all ironing boards make that screeching noise? I mean, I have not ever, I don't ever remember hearing an ironing board open that did not make that horrific screeching noise. From childhood onward, I feel like that's like normal, but I'm asking for a friend. Something that I noticed in the beginning of the video is I might actually need a third fabric for the lining. So all 80 of my HDs are going nuts trying to follow this video, and I'm sure the video is perfectly fine. I've watched it before. However, it's not working for me, so like famous last words, but I'm gonna wing it. So y'all are probably gonna see a lot of the top of my head. I apologize. Right. I will show you what I'm doing in just a second. The idea is to have like the top of the bag, what was it, 2/3 of the bag would be one print, and the top, the other third would be a different print. And right now all I do, I just have it folded. Like this piece is actually, it's folded in quarters, so it's halved and halved, and this one is like 2/3 because here's the bottom part. That. So right now what I'm trying to figure out is, do I want the birds to be on the top, and then maybe even inside the same section I could sew in a casing for the drawstring, which works on one side of the bag, and then so I would need to cut the polka dots down here, cut the bird here, That would give me one side of the bag. And then wait a minute, I'm thinking what I'm thinking. I'm gonna undo this and cut the entire polka dot fabric across, and then that actually gives me the front and back bottom. And then for the top part, the birds, I would need to cut that piece in half and then cut it in half again. Yes. Hold on to your butts. I think this is going to be a secret mouse tool that we'll use later. For the top part, we're going to talk it through again. Right now, I have it folded in half and then half again. But I want 2 pieces of this. Because it's already in half, if I cut the half in half, yeah, I know that means quarter, but visually it is a half that will be cut in half. Using the 2 pieces that will be down here will actually work for the front and back of the top of the bag. I feel like I used a lot of words, but I think it's going to work. Unfortunately, I can see where I'm going to need a separate fabric for the lining. Let's go ahead, line this up and cut. I'm going to use my handy dandy, I don't know what it is. I have no idea what it is. During the lockdown, I did a lot of sewing, and I acquired a lot of sewing paraphernalia, either through friends locally or I'm probably gonna have Editing Jackie put up a humongous disclaimer at the beginning of this video so that just in case there are any sewists watching, I am very sorry. I am very sorry. I have nothing but the utmost respect to people who sew and do it well, because I have owned a sewing machine for 32 years. Not the same sewing machine, but I have had a sewing machine for 32 years. I bought my first one when I was pregnant with my oldest child, and still haven't managed to master or even qualify as an unpaid apprentice. I wish I had my rolly cutter. What is it called? Rotary cutter? Anyone out there who is wanting to take up the craft of sewing, view me not as inspiration, but a cautionary tale. Measure once, cut twice. That's my philosophy. Here's what I have now. Nope, hold on. Y'all watched me do this. I managed to screw it up already. So the squares of fabric, let me rephrase that. The pieces of fabric I have are not square. And apparently I had the polka dot folded the widest way, and the bird fabric was not. It looks like about a ½ inch difference. I will hold my tears until after I stop recording. In the meantime, I'm going to go back to this. Oh. Yes, laying flat on my stomach is incredibly uncomfortable. Thanks for asking. Oh, come on. I just have clips on this. I don't even know if it's going to hold together when I hold it up here. Okay, I like this. Like, this is what I'm seeing. So if I sew, all right, so I'm gonna sew this right sides together. Every step I have to think about 1,000 times. Ooh, okay. If I sew, all right, I pinned it or clipped it. By the way, if you want to sew, pins are great, but I love these little paper clip, clothes penny type things. They're just amazing. And for people who don't pay 100% attention when they're doing stuff, no ouchies. I'm going to take these two pieces, turn it right sides facing, and I'm going to sew it together, both of them, like, so I'll have two like tubes, and I will, is that right? I think that's right. Yes. And then I will take, I'm going to unclip this. I will take what will be sewn together, it'll be a tube like this, and attach it upside down. I'm going to attach it upside down to the polka dot fabric, and I will sew this and the sides of the bag with right sides facing. So when I flip it all around, it should look like, well, like this. And then sewn, except, ooh. All right, I'm gonna have to figure out something for here because I don't want this to fray. But then I need a doggone liner. Okay, next stop, the sewing machine. Well, here I am with Betty. Say hi, Betty. I'd love to say things like, all right, you're going to want to use a blank, blank, blankety blank seam allowance. I don't know what our seam allowance is. Wait, I'm pretty sure it's 1/4 inch. So there, I'll call it that, but please do not quote me. Ew, that is not gonna work. Oh! Now, Betty, you knew we were being recorded and you decided to show your tail. I see. I see. This is why we don't have company. Okay? In case you were wondering. I don't know if y'all can actually see me, but a very interesting thing about this machine and a lot of the machines that were made, I think it's post World War II. In Japan, they were making a lot of the, like, Singer and White and different brands were being made by the Japanese. The needles are actually, like, traditionally, I'll say traditionally, most sewing machines now you thread the needle front to back, but this machine is one that you thread from left to right. And a lot of the Japanese machines, either the ones that were made for the American market, or like I'm gonna say the like the Singer knockoffs or the white knockoffs that were made in Japan and sold under a different label, they also had the sideways needle. Always something interesting. Well, at least there's always something to learn from Jackie. Interesting or not, you know. Keep it to yourself. Alright, I'm looking at my needle and it is not actually centered. I have a tool, I can't remember what it's called. You use it to turn, like, it's got like a clip on it and you pull out turn it inside out, but I can't find it. So I'm going to use what I used before I bought one of those tools that I can't find. Tool not appearing in this film. Ta-da! More useless things that you didn't know or need or / want to know is I can find all kinds of uses for a chopstick, but can't actually use a chopstick for its intended purpose. I have a drawer full of chopsticks from takeout restaurants. I use them a lot in soap making because I would use it to swirl my colors together in the soap and all kinds of things. And after I stopped making soap regularly, I guess it was weird to go to our local Japanese restaurant and not ask for extra chopsticks to take home. Ta-da! So I'm going to do the second casing, and then I'm going to go press these, and then I will come back. All of you who were shouting at the screen, trying to warn me for what was happening, I am so sorry that I ignored you. But good news, I found my thing, Gumma Bobber. I don't know what it's called. It's like a pincher, a puller, a pupper, I don't know. So you grab the fabric like this. It's like tweezers, and then this little slidey thing. See my professional sewing terminologies? This little slidey thing right there slides down to hold the tweezers in place, and then you just use it to pull it through. I found it after I turned is it called a turner? No. After I flipped the first one, I found it and used it for the second one, and it definitely went quicker. So my dismay, what I figured out after I had sewn both the pieces and pressed it, is this is not anywhere near the width that I was wanting. It will work, but this is not what I was aiming for. And also I forgot to turn over the edge before sewing it together.